timeline. Last week, he was found guilty of transporting people for prostitution, but acquitted of sex trafficking charges. Gaines is currently in jail, is set for sentencing on October 3rd, but that date may change. KCIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Delays on the 101 northbound coming up on Silver Lake Boulevard in Silver Lake. This is blocking the two right lanes, and that drive is slow moving, getting away from the 110 freeway. It's also tough as you make your way through Diamond 5 stall.
What up?
Eastbound for the 57, blocking the left lane. Delays from Bridge
Oh,
Road.
here we go. Sorry. Let's get it. Let's get it, peoples.
A lot better once you make your way past Green River.
Think It Up is an initiative to activate student-powered, teacher-led learning projects. Students and teachers, how can you spark great learning experiences in your classrooms today? Join at thinkitup.org.
At the tone, please record your message.
You ready? I'll drop it! Mr. Travis Smiley, preach it. Thank you, man. Politics in this country is crazy. You put things in perspective that even I didn't. The right is playing fast and loose with facts and scapegoating everyone under the sun, especially black and brown people. As a white man, I do not agree with this, and I am on my black and brown brothers and sisters' side. Fight the good fight. You know that I am part of the resistance. Let's fight the power. Our freedom of speech is freedom of death. We got to fight the powers that be.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
Hey, so I'm calling your show, 'cause I need to know. Show me which way to go before I throw my man out the door.
Okay, hold on a second, Keisha. Just let me ask Ronald exactly what's going on, because it takes two to tango, and I need to hear his side of the story.
So she's driving me insane, got stress heavy on my brain. She keeps playing silly games, and I'm about to make the pain. We seem to fuss and fight every day and every night. Please give some advice so we can see the light. See the light.
Is there a way to kind of tell when it's time, when you've learned all the lessons from that one particular relationship? Is there a way to say, okay, I think this one's done?
Yeah, absolutely.
What is
When they start getting difficult for no reason, it's time to go. What happens is there are very specific lessons to learn. You don't have to learn the same lesson 5 times. You don't even have to learn the same lesson twice. Right? These are typically red flags and intuitive nudges that people are ignoring because they want to continue receiving the crumbs that feel like love.
Ooh.
They want to continue feeling those small spaces that feel like love. They may only get it once a week, but to a person that is love deprived, that feels like enough. So people have to start acknowledging when enough is enough.
These are very, very clear opportunities to acknowledge we've come as far as we can go. I'm not getting anything else from this. This seems like it's more turmoil than it is love. It feels like I'm putting out more than I'm receiving because love is transactional. It just is what it is.
Yeah.
But when it gets to a place to where it's not healthy, it's not hard to identify when a relationship is unhealthy. But when you continue...
Listen, get her out of here. Get her out of here. Hey, I hear the clips when you hear the clips. Who is that talking, sir?
Candace Love.
And got the nerve to have the last name of Love. Candace, European term, means queen. Candace Love, queen of love. Wrong. I don't like it. I'm telling y'all, Krishnamurti said it the best. He said, we don't use language. Language uses us. We think we know what love is because we called it love. We gave it a term. Again, love is a high level of consciousness. Please understand that. When you're dealing with unconditional love, it's no different than dealing with unconditional consciousness. If you're dealing with unconditional consciousness, guess what level you're at? You're at God level. That's what God is, unconditional, infinite consciousness. Love is not a set of actions. Remember, John Bowlby's work, Mary Ainsworth, their work, right? Attachment theory, and the many other clinicians that have added on to that work after the initial onslaught in the 50s and then the 80s and on into now. We're in 2025. Three insecure attachments. I believe that Dr. David R. Hawking's work with his consciousness grid tells us that the majority of human beings are vibrating at the level of fear. Fear is a manifestation of insecure attachment style. Fear of intimacy, fear of abandonment. This is a manifestation of insecure attachment style. You got anxious, preoccupied. You have dismissive, avoidant. You have fearful, avoidant, which is a combination of the two. Tired of people saying love is a verb. Tired of people saying love is transactional. It is not. Only a wound will make a transaction. Only a wound will make a relationship investment. Unconditional love is infinite, like the source of God is. They're the same thing. You think love and God are two different things because they're two different words. Wrong. Love and God are synonymous. And when you can really love somebody, that's when you see the God in them. Go to our Far East brothers and sisters. Namaste. The divine in me recognizes the divine in you. This is why I bow to you. Listen, Western education did a job on a lot of people. Western education is another form of racism. I know people don't want to hear it put that way, but it is. Right? Listen, if you study our way, the other ways that we extrapolated our knowledge from is mythology. It's not sound. It's not based on the scientific method. It's all hoopla. It's not real. It's fantasy. Our science is the real science. Our knowledge validates everyone else's. Everybody else's myth and allegory and metaphor, it's not real. If you've studied, you'll see that, right? If you studied the humanities, you'll find that America is a low context culture. The Asians, the Mexicans, the Arabs, right? These are all high context cultures. They don't need a lot of information because they know it already. Our society is secretive, avoidant. That makes us a low context society. Listen, I don't want to get too far into that and break down the young lady's clip. She just said a couple of things that I did not agree with. Love is not transactional. wounds are transactional. Unhealed wounds need guarantees. Unhealed wounds need certainty, predictability, consistency. You don't know what infinite love is because everything in your life got a boundary, got a border. So unconditional love makes absolutely no sense to you. I'm sorry. But let's get deeper, because she did touch on some things that were pertinent to tonight's topic. When to move on. What kind of boundaries to set? See, we live in a society that lets social media set the boundary. Lets technology set the boundary. Guess what? I could just block you on my phone. Guess what? I can block you on all my social media platforms, right? We live in a block culture. Do you understand? But tonight I want to talk about something deeper. You know how I say, if you become what you expect of others, you no longer need to expect it from others. How about becoming the block? You yourself are the block. Do you block them on your cell phone because you do not have the fortitude to ignore the call? Them calling you, does it bother you because they call? Right? I am the block. Learn how to block people internally instead of relying solely on social media to do it for you. I am the block. Learn how to block people internally, not just on social media, because if you need an app to keep them out, you're still letting them in. 1-800-920-1580. 1-800-920-1580. Become the block. I am the block. The spiritual, psychological, and metaphysical art of internal disengagement in the age of digital erasure. 1-800-920-1580. See, technology has made you spiritually lazy. You don't even remember phone numbers because you got a phone that remembers all the numbers. So what do you do with that part of your brain? What happened to the part of your brain that used to hold the numbers by heart? Some people, oh, that's unnecessary. I'll just let the phone do it. What about doing it yourself? What aspect of your neurobiology are you triggering, right? When you cultivate the inner resilience to do it yourself. I am the block. In an era dominated by digital disconnection masquerading as emotional autonomy, we've outsourced our sacred responsibility to emotionally evolve by pressing buttons labeled block, mute, and unfollow. These superficial acts, often mistaken for healing, have become rituals of avoidance, a form of neural and spiritual bypassing dressed in a costume of empowerment. This body of work tonight deconstructs the performative crutch of digital blocking and introduces the radical, psychologically counterintuitive, and spiritually mature alternative, sovereign blocking. Internal release and sacred disengagement. A triadic paraxis of energetic sovereignty rooted not in reaction, but in reclamation. At its core, this inquiry asks, a deep question. Do you need your phone to do it? Or can you do it? We don't block people. We block parts of ourselves we've yet to reclaim. The need to block externally often reflects the absence of inner boundaries, boundaries that were never modeled, never forged, or were destroyed in the crucible of early childhood development, early relational trauma. Digital blocking, while at times necessary for physical or emotional safety, is not the end game, right? It is often the nervous system's emergency brake, not the soul's graduation certificate. True closure is not achieved through disappearance. It is achieved through integration, individuation, and internal energetic sovereignty. Listen, I'm not saying there aren't certain situations where you have a stalker, where you have someone that poses you a serious threat, that you shouldn't block them. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, just like the part of our brain may have atrophied that used to store those numbers, what is atrophying when you're going to block, mute, restrict? What is blocking? Right? You trying to forget a person or forget the lesson they came with? You trying to block the person or the lesson they came with? Can you block a memory? Can you block a lesson? The proposed framework for tonight's topic will try to dismantle the false dichotomy of blocking as empowerment or immaturity, and instead introduces 10 revolutionary substructures through which to explore the deep psyche and the energy field of modern relational boundaries. Number one, ontological self-blocking. Boundaries are not barriers. They are existential declarations of self-recognition. Blocking must begin in the psyche before it can be performed on a screen. Language and projection, labels like toxic or narcissistic, often disguise our unwillingness to hold. Are y'all ready? Often disguise our unwillingness to hold complexity. Blocking is often a covert attempt to end someone else's story before we've rewritten our own. Attachment and enmeshment. Number three, digital disconnection often masks emotional fusion. You can unfollow someone and still be following their ghost internally, their memory, their impact on you. The block must dissolve the blueprint, not just the behavior. Oh, energetic sovereignty. Nothing enters your field without your resonance or unconscious consent. Internal boundaries are about vibrational discernment, not punitive exile. Boy, the voice of reason is on complete fire tonight. Are y'all ready to get this work in? Listen, when I come forward, all you got to do is call the number 1-800-920-1580. Let's get it. I was getting hot than a mug. I said, hold on. Is the topic that hot? Zoe is a mad scientist of relationships. 1-800-920-1580. What are your thoughts? I need y'all to call in. What are y'all thoughts? What are y'all thoughts? A church van. All right. What are y'all thoughts on the setup? Have you guys blocked somebody and forgot them? Forgotten all about them? When you blocked them, were they out of sight, out of mind? The number to dial is 1-800-920-1580.
Click on the submit now button.
I want to talk to you guys about it. Call me now. 1-800-920. Call me now.
Growth doesn't just come from what happens to you, it comes from what you're willing to see around you. Some of the most powerful lessons I've learned didn't come from my own experience. They came from watching someone else wrestle with theirs, from witnessing, from observing, from asking, what does this moment have to teach me, even if it's not mine already? But we've become so self-centered in our own healing, so focused on what we're feeling, what we're getting, what we didn't receive, that we miss the invitation to grow through what's happening in the room. We miss the mirror that someone else's struggle holds up. We miss the parts of us that are being reflected back without ever being named. We miss the energy we're actually living in because we're too focused on what we expected to get. And that's what keeps so many people stuck. Not a lack of insight, but a lack of perspective. Not a lack of experience, but a lack of interpretation. They don't know how to take in what's around them. Real growth isn't always personal. Sometimes it's participatory. Sometimes it's what you learn from someone else's unraveling. Sometimes it's what you're being shown when you think that nothing's happening for you. So if you're in the room, listen. If you're present, observe. Because not every lesson will have your name on it, but it doesn't mean it's not meant for you.
Listen. Is that Raquel Hopkins? Listen. Listen. This is supposed to be a topic. It was supposed to be tomorrow's topic, but I'm just going to say it anyway. Intimate relationships are part of the humanities. They're part of the humanities. What is the humanities job? What do they teach? First off, relationship is an art. The art of communicating. The art of not projecting. The art of individuation. The art of being able to discern the form, right? Because that's a big piece of art. What does this art, what is the form of this art and all the accoutrement around it, right? Everybody, even the broken ones, man, it's a tapestry, a human tapestry. Humanities, the humanities are academic disciplines, right? Multidisciplinary disciplines that explore and interpret human culture, experience, the human condition, and values through the study of subjects like history, literature, philosophy, and languages. What is the philosophy of your relationship? Right? Right? What's the communication style of your relationship? Intimate relationships are part of the humanities. And if you're not looking at the interaction as art, maybe you're not an expert at relationships. Wait, hold on. Wait, an expert? I don't believe that art can be defined. What are you saying, Zoe? What are you saying? No expert can come in and define the art of you. Only you have the best understanding of yourself. You can't block nobody because you ain't never been locked down with just you. Well, you say, I can block them. I could just hit the block button. No, that's technology doing it for you. Can you walk away without another word? You've determined that it isn't good for you. Or have you? You're saying it's not good for you, but it might be. And that's why you're blocking. Many times people block their blessings. Don't act like a person ain't blocking their blessings every day. Sometimes a person comes into your life to unravel your spirit. You see it as an attack. That's how the ego says, wait a minute, annihilation? Yes, it's time for you to go. Your reign is up. You see that person as a bad person who comes into your life, when in fact, they were a savior to you. One thing about the scripture, push your savior away. The savior ain't gonna force you to believe in him or her. Oh, you're just not ready. They move on. It's a lot I have to teach you. Unfortunately, you're not ready. The comforter will come and teach you the rest. Do you understand? Relational shadows. If you block someone and still monitor them, the rupture isn't real. Sovereignty demands the death of the hidden desire to be seen in our absence. When I come forward, if you think I've just gotten started, you're absolutely incorrect. I haven't even begun. I don't understand why you guys call during the break. You know Andy is going to leave. I'm asking you to call. Well, hold on a second. Andy will be back in here.
Black Senator Tim Scott says claims that President Trump is going too easy on Russian President Vladimir Putin are, quote, hogwashed, end quote. On Fox News, Scott defended Trump.
Is this making sense? I want to know. Does this make sense?
He expects shipments to Ukraine will resume after a Pentagon review. Black House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries plans to meet with New York City mayoral nominee Zoran Mamdani next week to discuss his vision.
It's definitely on timing. Got you. And if you were calling, Andy is outside. He'll be back in a few minutes, okay?
Is an initiative to activate student-powered teacher-led learning projects. Students and teachers.
41 people, only 26 likes. So Everybody's lethargic on a Monday. We tired. We can't even hit the like button. Can we hit the like button? 41 likes. After today's Zoe West show, which was one of the funniest, I have to say, Sarah acted a complete fool today. It was hilarious. Sarah singing all them jingles. That was crazy. Okay, Andy's back in here, so if you're calling, you can call now. No, when I tell you Sarah acted a fool, anybody that hit the super chat, Sarah created a jingle. It was absolutely nuts. It was nuts. She made a special song for people. It was crazy. Thank you, sir. Soprano. Mr. Is it Sire I don't Sire Soprano? No, it was lit. Sarah was in rare form. You got to go back and watch it. It was that funny. Thank you guys for getting those likes up there. We got 31 people and 30 likes. I appreciate you guys for getting in. And like I said, the number to dial, we want to have a national discussion. Okay, let's have a national discussion for sure. Okay, let's have that talk. Call me 1-800-920-1580. Thank you, Attila, for putting in the Twos and Fuse Cash App and Super Chat. If you guys if you want to support the channel, if you're enjoying the content, please don't hesitate. Andy is here. Andy is in the building. Right. I told him you be on break. I told him you went to El Pollo Loco. Digital exorcism. And Dizzle. Gluteus maximus odoriferous. Sir Cardi B. Allegedly, the show was so funny. We was acting. Nikki, you was in there. We acted a complete fool today. When I tell you we acted a fool, Nikki. Nikki was in the chat. Hey, we acted out. The stinky BBL was crazy. Sit next to each other. You two can't sit next to each other in church, is true. We would act a complete fool. Here we go. Caller, he about to come answer your call. Here we go. This.
You blocked them, but you're still haunted. They're gone, deleted, banished from the kingdom. And yet, they still show up in your head like a pop-up ad for unresolved trauma. You're minding your business, doing the dishes, and suddenly your brain's like, hey, remember that time they betrayed you and you said nothing? Let's relive it in 4K. Cool. Thanks, brain. But it's not just missing them. It's rage, shame, regret. The whole emotional tasting menu. Because it's not just them you're mad at, it's you. For not walking away sooner, for swallowing your truth, for letting it slide like it was your job. And maybe you're still replaying it because part of you thinks there's something left to do, some final thought to think, some inner courtroom where you finally win the case. But here's the truth. You're not stuck on them. You're stuck on the version of you that didn't fight back. So yeah, let the memory come. Grieve it, cuss it out, cry in the car if you have to. But stop trying to edit the past like it's a TikTok. Forgive yourself for not knowing what you didn't know. And then close the tab.
Hey, man, I'm sick of Dog Man. Dog Man come in here and slap us around. I don't like it. He came in here and shook us. Hey, stop it. Yes, you have an internal fortitude. Come on, develop it. You can't develop it from outside of the storm, right? Digital disassociation. Most blocking is less about healing and more about curating a digital echo chamber. True individuation requires a nervous system that can withstand relational discomfort. Do you see? Listen, if you can be okay with whatever happened in the past, to the point where you can bring it up and it doesn't trigger you, it doesn't bother you, that's called healing or healed, right? Not every process takes a lifetime to heal. You can heal fully certain things, right? Okay, maybe it wasn't as bad as we initially thought it was. All right, maybe we just needed time and space to reflect, to come back to our senses. Okay, do you understand what I'm saying? A lot of people will let their cell phone, their iPhone, their Instagram, their Facebook, and whatever else, whatever digital platform, TikTok, where you're blocked everywhere, right? It's not empowering. In a lot of ways, it's disempowering. Like the cell phone disempowered your memory. You can't remember nobody number. You don't know nobody number. You don't even know your number. You got that number, and once you got it, it was in your damn phone, and that's it. You got to look your, hold on, let me see what my number is. How many people you seen do that? Hold on, let me see what. I'm from a generation where we learned how to write. There were penmanship tests. Let me see if you can write this cursive S correctly. Let me see this. You know, I was fancy with that cursive Z. Rababash. Let me tell you, we live in a society now that don't even write no more. Literally, physically don't even write. I go into the post office with packages all the time. Says, my handwriting? Oh, son, your handwriting is perfect compared to what I see in here. Do you understand? Certain aspects are being lost because technology is doing it for us. Internal blocking, sovereign blocking is a spiritual practice. Huh. Ain't that something? Non-duality and forgiveness. Blocking someone is not inherently unloving. It may be the highest form of self-love. To release someone without revenge, to walk away without superiority. Non-duality and forgiveness. As a form of blocking, I send you on in peace. Huh. Interesting. Presence over protection. The need to block may reflect not safety, but the incapacity to stay embodied in the presence of your own emotional charge. I ain't got time for this. I'm not dealing with this. Spiritual bypassing, using vibes or energy to explain disconnection, often veils a deeper fear of relational accountability. You can't block your way to enlightenment. And then number 10, ecology of connection. In the sacred ecology of relationship, nothing is wasted. Every trigger is a teacher, every discomfort a mirror, every ending a commencement. You haven't even had a commencement before you moved on to the next situation, until the next engagement. You haven't even commenced nothing. How many of you done started a whole new relationship, got it cracking, and the commencement from the last relationship 3-4 years ago hasn't even started? Let's just get deep. In love with somebody else? What? Spiritual blocking is not the erasure of the other. It is the withdrawal of your energetic entanglement with the storyline they once animated within you. It is not about exile. It's about energetic emancipation. Clinically, it represents the collapse of the trauma-fueled need to outsource self-definition through conflict. Spiritually, it marks the end of karmic contracts masquerading as relationships. Philosophically, it demands that we confront our addiction to pain as proof of purpose. And psychologically speaking, it reflects the maturity to choose differentiation over dramatization. When I come forward, guess what I'm doing? I'm going to the phone lines. If you want to bring your city in the building to join this national discussion, now's the time to do it because we're about to get it cooking. Let's go! Voice of reason. Are you tired of stealing your shine? California Cleaners is where you go to rescue your wardrobe. They don't just clean, they elevate. Hand washing, crisp laundry, and precise alterations, all while keeping your wallet happy. Listen, all you gotta do is connect with them in the beautiful city of Inglewood. Whether it's grass-stained jeans, silk that's seen better. Who else? Hey, who hung up? Who hung up? Did somebody hang up? With California Cleaners, located at 1326 North La Brea.
Some new caller, Sire Soprano.
Sire, man, I'm getting to the phone calls, bruh. Just you listening anyway. Hold on.
You're tired of pretty gyms with
Pretty Lies, where people seem to scroll more than they sweat. Well, it's time to level up. Welcome to Huff and Puff, where excuses die and champions rise. Smack dab at 1221 North La Brea on the corner of Fairview. This ain't a photo shoot, it's a battleground. Certified achievers in the game. Trainers who grind with you, not post pictures beside you. Whether you're chasing your next personal record or just trying to outrun your past, this is your sanctuary of sweat. No mirrors, no filters, no fluff, just pain, passion, and purpose. Stop talking, start training, huff hard, puff loud, be legendary. Where folks go to war with their weaknesses. Huff and Puff. Hey, back-to-back commercials. I love it. What up, John Gilbreth? Thank you guys for the likes. Appreciate it.
One of the hardest things about healing is that the version of yourself that you became in order to get through the war that you was presented with is also somebody that you have to let go of. See, the version of yourself that you had to be in order to survive is not the version of yourself that you can now be to continue. You have to leave that version of yourself behind. So it's a double-edged sword. You have to create someone to get through it, but once you're over that hill, you can't take that person with you. That person was for the war, and the war is won. The battle may continue, but they cannot.
Hey, Andy, who is that lady?
There was no person.
Whoever she was on complete Fire. Let me ask my niece. My niece will know. Who is that lady? They still don't know. Random spiritual lady. Because she was on fire. And she's 100% correct. Sometimes listen to what I'm about to say. Sometimes becoming your true self is blocking everything that was you, right? That blocking everything you were in the past, blocking everybody you were in the past. And I'm just talking about these intimate relationships, intimate entanglements and interactions. Maybe it's blocking everything because in order to re-engage with those people, you have to be another kind of person. Do you understand? And when you grow, when you learn, when you get on the healing process, you see yourself as, I am no longer the person that, oh, her name is Jess Baird. She was on fire. I love it, man. I love it. We got callers on the line. I want to get them in here right now. Sean, Oakland, California. What are your thoughts on tonight's topic, my friend?
Brother Zoda. So my thing with everything you're saying is, if you're really authentic as a human being, really honest, I'm not saying hate things. I'm not going all Christian values, all that kind of stuff. But if you're really authentic and value being trusted by people because you're honest all the time, that will help everything move forward. Because when you have a team, and your team may not be the closest people to you, and hopefully they are, obviously those are the most important. But people around you will say, yeah, I can trust this person. And if you cannot trust somebody, I guarantee them, and I didn't cuss.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no one will trust you. If they look, the best way to do it is sometimes you got to say uncomfortable things, though. And when you say them, it's not that I'm trying to mess stuff up or to be outlandish or hyperbolic. It's just that I'm being myself. I'm being honest. I'm being authentic. And sometimes, actually all the time, that's better, young people, to be. Because then people know who you are. Because if you're going to be phony and all that stuff, they'll find that out really quickly.
Agreed. 100% agree. Sean, you already know you cooking with the rarest grease, brother. You already know what the deal is. What did you just do, my friend?
Brother, I just was so happy to talk with you because I think you're Zoda.
Thank you.
And you give lots of wonderful information to people for relationships. And I love you. And yes, Oaktown, Oakland in the house.
Town business. You know what it is. If you in the Yay area, you need to give us a holla. If you in the 510 or the 415, you already know what it is. The number to dial is 1-800-920-1580. We on fire tonight, and I appreciate the call. He dropped some wisdom on us tonight. But sometimes people see you as an emotional trash compactor, an emotional trash can, garbage disposal. This is somebody I could call or I can get in contact with and just dump everything, my frustrations, and then once I've done that, I feel much better. Listen, you don't get to emotionally defecate and then wipe yourself and walk away. The person who is the commode in that situation has to learn a type of internal power that does not allow this person to see them as some emotional dumping ground. Let me tell you how I feel. This is what I'm going through. This is da 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 da. This how da 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 da. Right? Sometimes it's okay if you choose to participate in that. But guess what? What if it's not for your benefit and it's solely for theirs? What if it's a unidirectional benefit? It's only benefiting the person that gets to dump on you. You would have to learn how to internally block those people. Sure, you can externally do it. The telephone, the cell phone, social media has made it exceedingly easy to block anybody. But if you really want to block them, you're going to need some type of internal anchor that causes you to stand firm on your commitment to do what's best for you, to do what's in alignment with your highest good. Sometimes we desire those people who dump on us to actually pour into us, and we get emotional dumping mixed up with them pouring into us. They're not pouring into you. They're dumping on you, and that's a difference. You see? The digital exorcism. Why the people you block still haunt you. Right? When I come forward, I'm going to break that down even further. And we still have callers on the line. My nephew from Atlanta, Georgia is on the line. I'm calling everybody nieces and nephews, but I only got one niece in here. But if you younger than me and you calling in, this is my nephew calling in right now. Call in. The number to dial is 1-800-920-1580. When we come forward, we're going to Atlanta, Georgia. We're going to talk about it. Oh, snap. Ida. Ida. Hey, everybody say what's up to Ida. She sent a Cash App. Ida. Ida. Everybody say what's up to Ida. She sent a Cash App. Yo, Ida, thank you. Hey, get to your phone lines. This is your hour. It should be callers. I got everybody in here. I done set up the topic. You guys should get involved, okay? Call in. We got Atlanta. Who's calling in? I'm staying on point. Just got in here. What up, what up, what up? Sire, get back in here. Where you at? Dana Dorsey, what up? We're talking about how to be the block. Instead of relying on technology to block people, you have to become the block. And for people who are just in there, Dana Dorsey is one of my childhood friends. Can y'all please catch Dana up? Please, in the chat, give your thoughts to Dana about what you think, today's topic was about. Diamond Blue keeps saying digital exorcism. Yes, that's a subtopic I created and put into the topic. That's in the description. Sending love from Cleveland. What up? Miss Powell. Janavia. Did I get it right? Did I say it right? Janavia? Or Genevia? Janavia or Genevia? Which one is it? First or second? What up, y'all? Or maybe Attila came up with digital exorcism. You came up with that, didn't you, Attila? That came out of one of your questions, didn't it? Oh, I be forgetting.
Has your soulmate become your cellmate? Does black love still exist? What are your bedroom turn-offs? Fantasies and fetishes. Financial infidelity. I'm dating a fat person. Are they worth the wait? Trust me, this gonna be crazy.
How about the child wasn't here, and you still had to pay child support?
It's a very heated topic.
How is that right?
Mama's baby, daddy's maybe.
I just have so many questions I want to ask you.
I was like, is this something wrong with that?
You told me he had a vasectomy. I'm pregnant.
Betrayal has been committed. Hit you with a bad life routine. How does he maintain his humposity?
He likes it when it pinches the nip.
Why can't you open up, brother?
I'm a karate man. Karate man on the inside. They don't show their weaknesses. Yeah.
How do you make women so well?
So William, reason and accountability. The voice of reason.
So when I got to therapy at the age of 20, I had no real sense of self, and it was pretty underdeveloped due to childhood trauma. And at that time when I got to therapy, I wouldn't have known to name my major problems that I had going on as not having a sense of self. That knowledge definitely came later in the course of therapy. And therapy was extremely helpful to me in getting my sense of self back. And actually it was therapy with others in a group therapy that I was doing that I'll talk more in depth about later. At that time in my life, to give you a picture of what not having a sense of self looks like, it looked like things like this, is I couldn't bring myself to disagree with people. I was extremely flexible, if not malleable, with other people. Making decisions was excruciating, and I would continuously put them off because I could not make a decision to save my life. And I hid things that I liked or that I was passionate about for fear of how people would think about that, things like books, ideas, bands, whatever. And I would also put up with a lot of off behavior from friends and partners for fear of losing connection. Not having a sense of self is really a security issue. Related to that, I didn't have the skills to bring something up, or even know that bringing something up and during conflict was an option without blowing up on somebody or having that come out of nowhere, which is a trauma symptom. Being in a relationship for me made me feel okay and secure rather than having like an inner sense of security and foundation. And I was really lost without having a person in my life. And being in a relationship to me felt like a life vest. I also had no sense of having any personal power or choice. I would only get out of situations due to last straws. Like, I didn't know that I could leave a job when I wanted to or leave a relationship when I wanted to. It always had to be in the worst circumstances that I could bring myself to leave something. And my value was based upon performance. My worth was not internal, rather it was dependent on how I did things, like performances, or what I provided. I was also a chameleon in groups of people, not really knowing where I landed socially. I talk about that in a video called 11 Oddly Specific Childhood Trauma Videos that I'll have in the description. And lastly, probably the most important part here is that I felt like I was a fraud as a person. I saw others being able to assert themselves and their needs or embrace their choices and live from a place of authenticity without really worrying about what others would think or say. All of that really baffled me. Even though that I wanted to be like that, it was really baffling. For me, this thing felt like imposter syndrome of pretending that I was a person. Not that it was like imposter syndrome that I couldn't manage Excel or something like that, but I felt like I was a fraud as a person. And instead of having a strong inner healthy sense of self, like most childhood trauma survivors, I had to come up with something like a good enough substitute, which is the false sense of self. We all need something to kind of come up with when we don't grow up in healthy attachment and safety. And
Listen, are you listening? You can't be the block from that mindset. You just simply can't. He gave you all of these different examples of how, oh, I was a chameleon. He's in survival mode. Oh, it was performative. I had to show up and do this, that. He can't be the block, an internal block. He has to, in panic mode, let me block him on social media. Let me block him on my phone, because he doesn't have the internal strength, or he didn't have it. The fact that he was sharing this story, lets me know that he's put in some significant work to be able to articulate, what he was, past tense. You have to become the block. If it is not good for you, you have to find a stable, sturdy plateau within your spirit that could withstand the weight of all three pyramids at Giza. And you have to plant your foot there and say, I am the block. I don't have to delete your number. I don't have to block you. I don't have to block you on social media. The person I was that was in survival mode, trying to get whatever supply I think or I thought I needed, no longer exists. So the rules for my life has changed. Did you hear him? That was Patrick Teehan. Did you hear what he was saying? He was talking about imposter syndrome and faking it to make it. Listen, if you want to be a real person, you got to fall in love with yourself as is. And I mean that deep, just passionate, loving, caring, empathetic love for self. You got to be like, yes, me. Yes, I accept all of me, good, bad, dark, indifferent, whatever, all of it. And I'm not saying from an egoic space. I'm saying from an authentic space. This is what I got. And I can make this all I need by giving me what I desire. But listen, by giving myself what I desire from others. Self-love, self-approval, self-acknowledgement, self-acceptance, self-validation, right? All of this. And say, oh, we don't have an example. Zoe is your damn example. Zoe is telling you right now, right? Because seeking it from others is survival mode. It's they make me whole. You see what I'm saying? And then the opposite is when you discover this power that is latent in your spirit, when you discover it, the person that wanted to emotionally dump on you, the person that reached out just to see if they could still connect with you, you'll be the block. The person that never thought you could do better than them. And so they always have a chance to connect with you, right? You'll be the block. And they'll sense it, they'll feel it, they'll know it in their bones. That person is different now. This isn't the same person that I could nudge, that I could tap back in. You're the living embodiment of the block. The one that made you an option. The one that kept options when they were with you. You'll be the block for all of that because you're no longer that person. Right? This is why it's important that we have this discussion. We live in a society that made us spiritually lazy while at the same time technologically convenient. Digital exorcisms. Why the people you block still haunt you. Right? Digital trauma bonds. Right? Energetic cord cutting, emotional enmeshment, blocking psychology. Here's your psychological insight. You're not blocking the person. You're reinforcing the trauma pattern by avoiding its integration. Your philosophical insight. Ghosts don't haunt places. They haunt the meanings we haven't made peace with. Listen, you need a second to chew on that. You need a second. Come on, man. You need a second. Ghosts don't haunt places. They haunt the meanings we haven't made peace with. Yeesh. Your spiritual metaphysical insight, energetic cords don't dissolve through apps. They dissolve through conscious disidentification. And then your clinical and empirical insight. Research on rumination shows blocked individuals still occupy neural real estate when emotional closure hasn't occurred, according to the APA 2020. You see? The block as the baptism. Ending energetic contracts without drama, spiritual boundaries. Ending trauma cycles, emotional contracts, psychological sovereignty. Your psychological insight. Trauma bonds are not love. They are unsupervised agreements between your wound and their behavior. Lord have mercy. Become the block. Integration is a pathway to becoming the block. Right? You don't have to block somebody anymore. When they step out of alignment with your purpose, with your higher purpose, with your meaning for being here, when they step out of alignment with regards to mistreating you, treating you as if you are worthless, treating you as if you are trash to be discarded. When you grow up into your spirituality, into your true sense of self, and the fullness of self-authenticity begins to flower within you, they are blocked. They know how many people when you grew up, and I'm talking about spiritually, I'm not talking about financially. You grew up spiritually, and they could sense you're different. Something has changed. Something has shifted in this person. And they were a little bit more cautious because they know now, like, oh, he see me. Before he couldn't see me, or before she couldn't see me. Oh, Lord, they see me now. Woo! I can't step to them the way I used to. Do you understand? That's becoming the block. They're blocked by the fact they're going, wait a minute, hold on. You make them pause. Your growth causes them to pause. This is how you become the block internally. You don't need the phone. You don't need social media to do it. This is how you do it. Sacred detachment is not exile. It's a form of existential cleanliness. How many people you know come to you as a mess? And they think, oh, well, this is the friend that I talk to give me insight, to give me clarity and peace and da da da. But they come to you as a mess because they get to leave from you in a more ordered state. And you start to realize, right, your emotional chattel. You're a tool they use to organize their dysregulation. You got to become the block for them. True release, right, is when the soul no longer requires mirrored adversaries to evolve. Listen to what I said. That's your spiritual metaphysical insight. True release is when the soul no longer requires a mirrored adversary to evolve. I thank you. I don't need this lesson anymore. I'm past this one. Clinical and empirical insights. Boundary violations correlate with identity diffusion in individuals with unresolved relational trauma, according to Briere and Scott, 2015. You want it again. Boundary violations correlate with identity diffusion in individuals with unresolved relational trauma, Briere and Scott, 2015. Come on. We got callers on the line. I want to get them in here. Have you learned how to become the block? We got my nephew on the line, Nazarene X from Atlanta, Georgia. A is in the house. A, what up, sir?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
Not too much, man. Look, these, you call it like the blinders. It's kind of tricky, but it is, quite the walk. Like, how I put this. I like using the block, right? Externally, and it's a byproduct of internal decisions. I'm quick these days to utilize these technological advancements to my benefit, and I don't live in the grid because I live in the real world. And typically when I'm engaging with people in the real world, I'm announcing myself or presenting myself clear enough to me so that by the time we have to quote unquote part ways, or if there's a disconnect in the real world, or like whether it's through a conversation, I know in my heart or my chest, like, if I don't want to hear the voice that came from this last location, by all means, I can block it. But what it is, like you were just speaking to with that cleaning tip, it's like you cleaning up your spiritual peripheral vision or something like that because you maintaining focus. Mm-hmm. And I think it's important to where, in order to become the block, we have to know that, how I put it, we don't have to engage. We don't have to respond. Because I think like sometimes there's a lot of pressure that we put on ourselves. Mm-hmm. Because, for example, before I was able to turn the so-called blind eye to someone's message my way or what have you, it's always like you come to this crossroads where it's like, well, I either have to respond, I have to find out what words to say, I have to present myself, or whatever the case is. But in essence, you really don't. Like, that whole tone of knowing when to hold your peace, like, is enough. Mm-hmm. When you kind of get there, that's when you don't necessarily use the block, but part of it is like, I think,
Wait. You don't have to move the block. Stay right there. My nephew is cooking right now. Atlanta, Georgia in the building. If you want to bring your city in the building, all you got to do is call me at 1-800-920-1580. When we come forward, we going back to the A. Hey, good work. Good work, Naz. Good work. I love it, Naz. Good work, bruh. Hey, keep cooking, sir. Keep cooking. Davey Lee, call in here, man. You one of the solid ones that call in all the time. We got to get some new people to call in. I love the old folks. I love the OGs, but we got to get some new folks too. I love John Gilbreth. I love Nikki from the SIP. I love Cali Soul. I love, oh, come on now. I love all of y'all. You know that. But y'all tired. And I don't mean tired as in y'all tired. You know how women say, this nigga tired. I don't mean that way. But you might have great show fatigue. Great show fatigue is comedy, right? You might just be tired. I get it. So we gotta like get some more people to call in. I love when Nikki called though. Lloyd Hinton. Love Lloyd, man. Lloyd, you was in the chat today for the Zoe West show. That shit was crazy. Davey Lee from the Sticks. You didn't help me more than you know, or I helped you more than I don't know. I didn't. Let me know, Lloyd. I'm trying to read your quote. Have helped me more than you know. Hey man, it ain't nothing but love. You already know that. You already know that. That little I got it in my house, bro. Hold on.
Well, I'll come back to my system and method now. How do you strip away the conditioning? That's the whole point. Is there a difference between you and your conditioning? Answer my question. It's very deeply ingrained. Let's look at it. You say, how can I strip away, put away my conditioning? That means there is a you and a conditioning. Which means there is a division.
There's a division between you and your conditioning.
The you is also conditioned.
The you is conditioned. Come on.
Yes, it is. Therefore, the problem is not you and the conditioning. There is only conditioning.
Mm.
But we have gone in the habit of me and the conditioning. I must do something about it. As though I was different from it. So when there is that division, there's conflict. That conflict is a totally false.
Hey, man, that's enough. Listen, man. Why the note is right under your fingers now. Listen. Most human beings you meet are in conflict. As Attila just pointed out, he said basically he called us schizophrenic. He said there's you, and then there's your conditioning. Then he said the you is conditioned. And then you come into the relationship demanding all this stuff that your partner got to be. And guess what? You've been a lie the whole time because you don't know the difference between you, the conditioned you, and your conditioning. You don't even know who you really are. You don't know how to stand up for yourself. And it takes a lot of work, maybe some help, maybe some clinicians, maybe some spiritualists, somebody coming through to help you see you as you are. But no, you don't do that. You continue to use and manipulate people and take advantage of people because you've been in survival mode ever since your parental dynamic didn't give you what you needed. So you grew up, even in a home with two parents, you grew up in survival mode. That's what a manipulator is. And they may not all be narcissistic, sure. But that doesn't mean a great deal of them, a great majority of them aren't manipulators. I think anybody with an insecure attachment style is conditioned to manipulate. Nazarene X, please, come on, man. Finish your final thought.
basically digging around, looking to find other words, but it just comes back down to self-respect being like an act of violence to the demons that you fight, one way or the other. So once you put your foot down and you make a decision, and you're on that type of time, regardless, as any pull that's like trying to convince you otherwise, like you haven't made a righteous decision, something that you can live with, anything that's kind of pulling away from that is nothing but a distraction from, I say, like the new walk that you have or whatnot, and you just owning the control that you do have over your, I guess, your immediate circle or, you know, your immediate vicinity, your path or what have you. Like, it's on you to clear the way as well, to maintain less stumbling blocks and things like that. It takes self-awareness and all. But for me, in words, is like just leaning into the violence is quite okay. Like, you could be scammed likely, but just at the end of the day, in my mind, I'm like, my family, my friends, those that I respect and I want to hear from and so forth, you always have an open line of communication with me, and it's not always digitally. I'm someone that's accessible, like pull up on me, what have you. But say like to things that are of old, 10 times out of 9, I've left those entities with the message straight from my heart, like, this is as far as you go. When you come here, if you are not different, you will get shot with the same bullet.
Hey, guess what? Guess what you just did, nephew? ATL in the building. I need to hear from Mississippi. I need to hear from Florida. I need to hear from New York. I need to hear from San Francisco, Oregon, Seattle. I need to hear. Get to your phone lines. The number to dial is 1-800-920-1580. Where's Chicago at? Where Illinois at? Huh? Where Indiana? Where Indianapolis? Get at me. Great call, nephew. Brother Lloyd back at it again. Thank you for the cash app, Brother Lloyd. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
On Fox News, Trump defended Trump's pause on some weapons to Ukraine, saying Trump is focused on ending the conflict while keeping Americans safe.
This has been the most remarkable few weeks in American presidency.
He expects shipments to Ukraine will resume after a Pentagon review. Black House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries plans to meet with New York City mayoral nominee Zoran Mamdani next week to discuss his vision. And talks between Philadelphia and its largest workers' union have stalled as they strike enters day 7. Workers want higher pay and health benefits, rejecting the city's 13% raise over 4 years. Trash is piling up, and events like Wawa Welcome America have been hit, with LL Cool J and Jasmine Sullivan pulling out in support. It's CIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Feeling alone in your job search? With just one connection, you can find endless job opportunities. That connection is Express Employment Professionals. Don't go it alone. Visit expresspros.com to find a location nearest you. That's expresspros.com.
Hi, I'm Jesse Jackson Jr., inviting you to join me weekdays at 12 noon.
Now I be like little weird ass fruit flies in this motherfucker.
Given almost 2 decades in Congress, my show is the fresh new home of an authentic, uncompromised quest for transformation and salvation, both personal and collective, as I vigorously interrogate the theological and symbolic meanings embedded in our society. I promise to leverage my knowledge of history, theology, and both international and domestic issues to imagine an inclusive vision for the future, which I hope will inspire all of us to pursue life, liberty, and the pursuit of
Zoe Leroy is crazy.
not just an aspiration. So join me weekdays at 12 noon right after Titus Smiley for 2 hours of the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show, only on KBLA Heart 1580.
Hey, it's Zoe Williams, the voice of reason. Are you tired of staying stealing your shine? California Cleaners is where you go to rescue your
I'm gonna catch his ass slipping. He's somewhere. To pimp a fruit fly, that's crazy. All right, we got my brother Pastor John on the line. We going to him next. Is anybody else going to get on? If so, you guys should call now. If you're thinking about jumping in, please call now. Atul is crazy. Anybody else going to get on? These two fingers had to be pointing at the rim. You want your shot to go in? Rotation. These two fingers pointing at the rim.
Irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness becoming ill. And if it's anything, the risk of broken ribs. If you have this, contact the doctor. I'm so glad I did. Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol Myers.
Tisms? I don't know.
California Crusader newspaper would like to thank all of our subscribers for their support throughout the years, proudly serving the South Los Angeles and South Bay areas for more than 40 years.
They just be there. Exactly, Jack.
We're constantly looking for ways to assist businesses in our community to connect with our subscribers. We provide low-cost, effective ways to promote your business without reasonable and affordable advertising rates. You can participate by suggesting, sharing, and submitting your stories on the California Crusader newspaper community share Facebook group page, or visit our website at cal-cruise-news.com. That's calcruisenews.com. Then click on the Submit Now button located on the top right corner of the homepage, or text CCN to 42828. Again, text CCN to 42828.
Just landed home and tapping in late. Driving now. What up, Cali Soul? Always love to have Cali Soul on deck. Auntie Callie would have been perfect for this.
But every time you drive after drinking, music gets drowned out. Life sounds pretty great. Don't let buzz ruin it. Buzz driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzz. A message from Miss Indianapolis.
Sarah Jackson. Sarah without the H. What up, Sarah? Everybody loved you today, baby girl. Sarah, call in.
us are still stuck in cycles, stuck in lives, stuck in realities we detest, is that we are still bound by the thoughts and opinions of others, or we are so worried about what they might think that we just stay stuck. The reason many of us cannot get out of that rut is because we are married to our perceived identities. This is why I go on about flirting with life, why I go on about the complexity of human expression. Go and watch the video I made on the construct of goodness.
Pause that. She sound chocolate and African. Is that what I got? She gorgeous, ain't she? Pearly. She gorgeous, ain't she, brother? Yeah, bring Pearly back in here. Keep cooking, Pearly.
Let's delve into this idea a bit more, but I'll tell you something that clicked for me years ago. Human beings are interconnected. It is not unnatural to care what our communities and the humans that make them up think of us. What is unnatural is groupthink. So your goal isn't to not care what other people think. That's where many of us kind of remain and get stuck. I don't know what to do. I just care so much about what other people think. I don't know. Well, you should care. To some degree, you are human. Your goal is to allow them to think whatever they want. People have every right to believe whatever they want. The real question is, are you comfortable being perceived in whatever image they drum up? Because when you look at it from that perspective, judgment isn't the issue. Your fear of your complexity and the complexity of others is the issue. You haven't allowed yourself to see the human experience outside of the boxes we are so often forced into.
Come on, lady.
For example, there are people who have met me who think I am the sweetest, kindest, softest, warmest person they've ever met. And then there are people who have also met me at the same time, the same period, who think I am aggressive, mean, cantankerous, who will call me a witch. In some people's experience, I am incredibly quiet. In others, I am as loud and as active as they get.
Come on.
Some people consider me a genius. Other people think I am pretentious and condescending. Some people might even call me dull. If you ask me, Paul, what do you think of these takes on you? I think they are right. That doesn't mean that I agree with all of them, but my point is this. In whatever world they carry within them, those descriptions of me match their experience. It is not my duty or my responsibility to try to correct that.
Come on, she's the block. Bring me,
man,
listen, man. Pearl is the block. Think what you think. I'm not here to reinterpret what you think. What in the world? You don't know how to be the block, but you know how to use the block on social media, on your cell phone, or on TikTok, on Instagram, right? You know how to block, but you don't know how to be the block. I'm going to tell you right now, you'll block a lot of goofies out of your life when you get serious about who you really are. When you get down to the meat and potatoes of who you really are, a lot of people will simply leave you alone because they will recognize, oh, okay, the opening that was there for me to play is no longer there. Right? And most of us get that confused with avoidance, stonewalling. No. I'm talking about from an internal space of peace, of oneness, of I am respect. I'm not looking for your respect. I am the embodiment of self-respect. I'm not looking for your approval or your definition of me. I define me and redefine me when I see fit. That's the block. See, when that's not in place, people see the opening to say, oh, I can play. You got to learn how to be the block, not employ the block, not, I block them first. How many times you see people blocking and unblocking, following and unfollowing? Right? Internal block theory, trademark. When the soul unfollows without the algorithm, That's what I'm talking about. Internal blocks are the retrieval of projected identity scaffolds once anchored in other people. The ultimate unfollow is non-participation in your own or another's egoic theater. That's the ultimate unfollow, right? Your soul doesn't block. It transcends frequency mismatches. Do you hear what? Be the block, dang it. Let me get my brother in here. Mountain View, Hawaii. You already know what it is. Passa John in the building. John, what are your thoughts on tonight's topic, my friend?
Taking trauma wound management for 5,000 tonight.
The big island is on deck. Let me sit back and let this brother get his.
Okay. Maybe there's some conflict of what's going on here, because in most cases, when somebody uses something like the words block, they're not using it correctly. And let me explain. Some of us need to put up that boundary when we are alerted to the things that we know we need to change in our spirit.
Keep going.
And you put up the block if you're spiritually minded to find out what you need this block for, what it is teaching you in the process, how you to overcome whatever that trauma is or that blockage is, so that you can finally lift up the shield and continue with your life. All at your choice. But this is the process that it goes through, and everybody never gets past the first step. The shield. If growth is something in your process, which again, you would have to have a declaration within yourself to know, this is not the place where I'm supposed to stand at. Yet I'm supposed to be standing on my square, right?
Come on.
If this is the process that's triggered you enough to have you pause for a moment, not to the point of hatred, but to the point of alert, because that's all it is. You're being alerted to the trigger within you that is something that you need to fix within you. This has been my process. Because again, at the choice that I make, depending on what the circumstances be, I can still love you, but I may have to do it at a distance.
Yes.
I'm a giver. So again, I'm going to offer this gift to you because I want to see you grow in the process of me giving, because it's within me and I got it, and there's a God who loves me to allow me to give it. But I also need to use boundaries because I know how takers are.
Come on. Come on.
These are the processes and the things that have to be grown through, but let's get beyond the shield. The shield is the boundary. You put it up, you had necessary for it so you can survive this situation. Your growth is when you finally figure out what you're to do next. This is still on the battlefield, ladies and gentlemen, so get your armor up.
Come on.
At the same time, be the person you choose to be. And me, I choose to be the kind person. I'm the good soul. I'm not just a nice person. Because you catch me on the opposite end, and I may react, and you get cut. Don't get mad.
Hey, John. Hey, John. Well, hey, man, what did you just do, friend?
Mountain View is in the house. I will always and forever be here.
Yes, sir.
The body, soul, and even spirit.
Yes, sir.
Love you all.
Love you, brother. Thank you, man. If you want to bring your city in the building, all you got to do is call me. 1-800-920-1580. When we come forward, more from the chef's kitchen. Yeah. Pretty Lies, where people seem to scroll more than they sweat. Well, it's time to level up. Welcome to Huff and Puff, where excuses die and champions rise. Smack dab at 1221 North La Brea on the corner of Fairview. This ain't a photo shoot, it's a battleground. Certified achievers in the game. Trainers who grind with you, not post pictures beside you. Whether you're chasing your next personal record or just trying to outrun your past, this is your sanctuary of sweat. No mirrors, no filters, no fluff, just pain, passion, and purpose. Stop talking, start training, huff hard, puff loud, be legendary. Where folks go to war with their weaknesses. Huff and Puff. Hey, I was in the gym this morning, 8 a.m.
Ain't that Huff and Puff across the street from the
From Droves.
Okay.
Yeah, I was in the gym today, sir. Getting it on. I'm tired than a motherfucker too. And tight than a motherfucker. That motherfucker had me doing all type of weird shit today. I need 4 sets. I need 5 sets of 15. All right. And in between each set, I need 25 set or 1 set of 25 push-ups. So that's 5 sets of push-ups, 25 each set. Oh, I definitely need some magnesium, but I don't have it in my house. Like, women be having all types of shit. Herbs and compounds and ointments and... This one lady told me about some damn magnesium spray for your feet. She's like, you should spray magnesium on your feet when you go to bed. For what? It'll help you sleep. Nigga, I'm a man. I'll just close my eyes. I don't...
No, it was a basic teaching in Buddhism that the root of all human suffering is clinging or grasping.
Attachment.
Just in the same way as I was suggesting on a previous program, that you can't cling to your breath without losing it. You have to let go of your breath. And for that reason, the word that is used in Buddhism for this experience, it's another word, familiar to you all, nirvana, literally means blow out.
Mm-hmm. Extinguish.
Don't hang on.
Nirvana.
Don't clutch life. And so one of the great problems is how on earth to get ourselves to give up clutching, to give up clinging. But you see, if that's something you eagerly want to do because you want to get something good out of it, this is still a grasping attitude. Well, you know, in Zen, they have a means of teaching people how to stop clinging.
Man, Alan Watts, man, he's always fire. When I block you inside of me, do I create space or do I simply relocate you to a more hidden chamber of my unconscious? Can internal boundaries exist without internal warfare? Or have I only known peace as the aftermath of punishment? Who is the you I am trying to silence when I block another? Your voice or the echo of my own unresolved inner dialogue? What does it reveal about me if I must sever connections in order to feel sovereign? If I use the term toxic to describe you, have I ended your story or conveniently redirected the lens away from my own? Could my decision to block you be less about you violating a boundary and more about me lacking the capacity to articulate one? How do I know the difference between genuine boundaries and a covert contract I made with silence? Does language liberate or entrap me when I describe others as narcissists, manipulative, or unsafe? If I reframed blocking as withdrawing energetic consent, how would my relationship power or my relationship to power shift? It's very interesting. Am I blocking a person or the trauma-coded template I unconsciously assigned to them? What if my impulse to block you is actually a cry from the younger version of me who never had a boundary, only abandonment? If I had been mirrored with accuracy as a child, would I still need to digitally erase others to feel seen now? Can I create an internal boundary without reactivating the inner child's memory of exile? Am I participating? I'm going to stop with the questions for a second because these are heavy questions, and I really want you to be able to kind of process what I'm trying to. When I block someone online, who do I imagine is watching? And what do I need them to believe about me? If I curate my digital field to eliminate discomfort, am I still participating in the real world or constructing a self-made echo chamber? Do I just need to hear my own beliefs on a loop in order to feel safe? Like, do you understand what I'm saying? When you grow up spiritually, individuation, nirvana, moksha, self-realization, self-actualization, when you begin the healing process, the real deal healing process, you'll see what type of liar, user, manipulator you were. And it may make you feel bad for what you've done to others in order to feel good about yourself in the moment. And believe me, it's only momentary. Imagine the micro prostitution you've done in order to get what you need. Right? Transactional sales that use your integrity as the currency. That's what prostitution is for me. Do you understand? There's no block there. If they've got the money, you've got the integrity to sell. Are you hearing what I'm saying? You're not the block in that situation. Being the block is being at one with oneself, knowing who one is. As is commonplace, you know what I like to do. I like to start conversations. That's all. I like to start them. But it's really up to you to finish them. I'm not proclaiming to be correct. I'm not proclaiming to be anything. What I am is a conversation provocateur. I'm going to provoke deep-seated issues in all of us. And I'm going to ask us to ask those questions, to deal with those questions. That's what the voice of reason does. Today was asking how to become the block instead of using technology to do it for us. I thought we had a great conversation. Listen, I'll be back here tomorrow with another slapper. The VOR always on fire. Let's get it. Great show, y'all. Appreciate y'all. Everybody was dope. Love y'all. I'll holla back. Deuces.